Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gabo the Shaman, and today we're talking about the biggest block to your spiritual evolution, to your spiritual growth and ascension, whatever you want to call it. Ascension, enlightenment, moksha, liberation, spiritual enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to be talking about the biggest block to that. So what is the biggest block to your spiritual evolution? It is your intellect. It is your intellect. My experience is that has been that if I'm living from my heart center, if I'm living from my soul, then everything comes into alignment, and everything, comes into balance and alignment in my life. And when I'm living from my intellect, from my head, then I just feel so disconnected and so isolated and so lost and things like that. So the main thing is to get out of our intellect. So, the intellect is a great thing, and we need it. We need it to be physical humans and to engage in this reality, and we need the intellect to know what side of the road to drive in, what language to speak, and the intellect is very important in three-dimensional reality. It keeps us safe, it tells us when the stove is on, it tells us, when we can touch the stove and when we can't touch the stove, things like that. So the intellect is very important for, physical survival and things like that too. But the intellect is very limited. It is only meant to help us, like, in our waking reality, in our physical reality, because but when people like, okay, so here's the thing. People tend to overthink things. People tend to be in their intellect all the time, and they resort to thinking instead of feeling. So we are either, you can think of it like this, we're either in a thinking state or a feeling state. We're either living from our head or we're living from our heart. We're either in our intellect or we're in our feelings. And so when we are in our intellect, this means that we are overthinking. This means that we are avoiding our feelings. So we can't be in our feelings while we're in our intellect, and vice versa. So the biggest block to your spiritual growth is your intellect, your need to figure things out, your need to rationalize things, your need to find out the exact science and everything behind how things work and how spiritual practices work and things like that. Because this is what I've wanted to know for the longest time, but I'm like, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Because when hey, listen, all I know is that when I do these practices, when I do these things, my life improves, my mood improves, and I feel better. I just feel better as a result of them. And I've had experiences where I've had, I felt energy, and I've felt so connected with the universe and things like that. And these are meditations. These are active meditations. So so when you do the spiritual practices, when you do the qigong, when you do the kundalini yoga, when you do, the stuff that I teach, it gets you out of the intellect. It relaxes that intellectual side of you, and it lets the the feeling side of you come up, because when we're moving with the energy, we have no choice but to feel. So it's you know but basically everybody wants to know in a scientific capacity what spiritual practices do and how they work. And while science can explain that, I'm sure, there's been research done on how meditation affects the brain and things like that. We think that if we can rationalize it, then we can give ourselves permission to do it. But that's the biggest block. That's the biggest block. Because it doesn't matter if you rationalize it. The stuff works whether you know how it works or whether you don't know how it works. It just works. So having to or wanting to figure out how it works and stuff, it's almost like it's almost like needing to figure out how a vehicle works, how a car works, in order to drive it. Really? You want to dismantle every single piece of a car and look at it and figure it out and put it back together before you can drive it and enjoy it? No. Why would you need that? Why would you need to do that? Just drive the car, enjoy the car, enjoy it. I've made these practices so affordable for you guys, but I mean, I'm not losing sleep over whether you guys do this stuff or not. I would like you to to make your life better and to make this world a better place for everybody. But I mean, I don't need you to. It's just that thing of like, I need to figure out how this works in order to give myself permission to do it. And I'm telling you, that's not the case. You don't need to know how anything works. You just need to try it out. I'm telling you guys, if you do this stuff, like if you do this practice for a month and you come back and after that month is over, you have experienced nothing and you don't like it, just unsubscribe from my Patreon. It's that simple. So actually having that experience, having the experience, like, experience is not like anything else in this world. Experience is very personal. It's very subjective. It's very personal and very individual. So like, for example, the experience that I have with these exercises is going to be very different than the experience that my teachers had with these exercises. That will be different than the experience that you have with them. And they're all valid. They're all valid. They're all okay, We're all going to have our individual experiences with them. And so when people ask me, can you tell me exactly what this is going to do for me? No. It's just one of those things where you're just going to have to find out for yourselves. Because the truth is, I can only explain so much, and really it doesn't matter. You could know all there is to know about these practices, but actually doing them and making them a part of your everyday routine that's what's going to really really change your life in a big way. So knowledge is great for three-dimensional reality, but spiritual knowledge is, it's I see people who are like obsessed with spiritual teachings. They just want to know everything. They just want to absorb everything. They want to consume all the spiritual teachings and all this, thinking that that's going to do something for them. It's not. Because your mind is only one part of you. Your intellect is only one part of you. You have an energy body. That is another part of you. You have a soul. That is another part of you. You have your psychological programming, which is connected to your energy body. That is another part of you. So just focusing on your intellect is pretty meaningless. Just focusing on spiritual teachings is pretty meaningless. So anytime I get on here and talk to you guys, it's me appealing to your intellect. It's me trying to tell you things so that you'll feel comfortable doing the practices, so that you'll actually do them. But I don't know, guys, it's so frustrating for me. It's like because I could come on here and promise you guys superpowers and all kinds of things, but really it's really just tapping into your own godhood. It's tapping into your own divinity. And when we do that, when we tap into our own divinity, it's like we are everything. We are God. So it's you'll find that when you do these practices, everything else just kind of doesn't matter anymore. Because we're tapping into the heart center, we're tapping into the power of the soul. So when we when we tap into that power, then it's like we're basically tapping into our infinity, our godhood. So I mean, there's only so much that I can say to you guys about how this works and stuff like that, but it's the most powerful energy exercises that I've ever experienced. And so so it's important to do these things every day, at least one spiritual practice every day. I would recommend the Self-Transformation Challenge, but if you don't want to do that, then the Cosmic Qigong is good too. And just, what I do is I wake up and I do my spiritual practices, and then I go on with my day. And sometimes I feel the energy, sometimes I feel like the results. Sometimes I feel that Kundalini rising up the spine. But other times it's nothing, and I can go months without experiencing anything, and that's okay. That just means that that's just a part of the journey, you know. But just because you're not experiencing anything, just because there's no physical sensations or anything like that, doesn't mean that it's not working. So it is working. You just have to do the work. You just have to continue the work to, to continue that process. And then after a few months, you'll get this huge revelation, or huge something will happen, and then it'll go dead again for a couple months, or for maybe a couple weeks or whatever, and then you'll get this huge burst of energy and enlightenment, and then it'll settle down, and so it just comes in waves like that. So, but if you're not doing it every day, then it's just you're not going to get the results. So anyway, the biggest block to your spiritual evolution is your intellect. Alright guys, so if you would like a Vedic astrology reading with me, you can go to the links down below to find that. It's at vincent.thunderwizard.com. If you want distance energy healing, if you want me to send you my energy, healing energy, Reiki energy, Qigong energy, then you can sign up at linktree/Gabo the Shaman. If you want career and life coaching, if you want to know what your soul desire is, then you can sign up for my career coaching package at linktree/Gabo the Shaman, and links are down below too. We have the life coaching, so if so we have the career and life coaching, so if you want to know what your soul desire is, you can sign up there. If you want to work with me on an ongoing basis, then you can also sign up at linktree/Gabo the Shaman, or just go to Patreon. We have support groups. I am a support group facilitator, so if you'd like to join support groups, and they're only like a group of like 5 people, and it's great. We come together each week and we talk about our feelings, and we support each other, and uplift each other, and encourage each other, and it's a great way to be vulnerable with people, and to learn that we can grow with people, and we can have that vulnerability with people. And then of course the energy work courses, last but not least, we have the Cosmic Qigong right here, and the Self-Transformation Challenge right here. So you can go to patreon.com/Gabo the Shaman and sign up for those. Okay guys, so we will talk to you next time. Peace.